Hello.
Hello, hello. Thank you all for coming. I think you all know why we are here. I'd like to introduce to everybody Matthew Tkachuk. Before I do, I'd sincerely like to thank Hubie, Weeks, and Cole for their service to the team, for the service to the organization. They're wonderful hockey players, and more important than that, wonderful people. And want to express our organizational gratitude and my personal gratitude for all that they've done. And without further ado, Matthew Tkachuk.
Hi guys, how are you? This is the most media whoever said there's not a lot of media down in Florida is lying to me. So it's great to get to know you guys, and I'm sure we've seen a lot of you guys down the next bunch of years. So I appreciate it.
Matt, Jameson, FloridaPanthers.com. I know we just talked, but just being here now, press conference in front of the backdrop, logo on your shirt right there. Just how does it feel, just day one as a Panther?
Very surreal. It hasn't fully sunk in yet, if I'm being honest with you. It's been a lot of running around the last few days, but it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable waking up here. You just get that little bit more excitement knowing where you are. Talking with Bill, talking with all the players. It seems like a very close group here and a very solid group that's close to winning. And that was the most attractive part for me. So I'm excited to be here. I'm really, getting to know the guys a little bit more just over text. Met a few of them today. Met some of the trainers, equipment guys. So I'm getting more comfortable. So I'm sure it's just going to get that much better.
And just one for Bill as well. Bill, obviously we know how great Matthew is in his own right as a player, but just what does a move like this do for just the entire state of the franchise? You obviously get a little younger, some more flexibility, but when you look at the window you guys have, just what does this do to that window?
Yeah, for sure. Matthew allows us to keep that core. Now we have a 24-year-old fit right in there with Sasha, Anton Cummings, Spence, and it allows us just to keep a younger core of high-end players together, hopefully to grow together, to win together, and it's exciting.
Matthew, can you walk us through just how everything went down? Obviously, we know you were in New Jersey on Friday with your brother and your family, and then you're back in St. Louis, and now you're here. But how quickly did you hear, Florida?
I got a call from my uncle, who's the best agent in the world, and he called me Friday in the afternoon. Said, give me a call. Well, first of all, he told me throughout that day, he's like, keep your phone on you. I'm like, yeah, absolutely. So I went to the beach, and I obviously left my phone at home. And then did a few other things, and I got a bunch of missed calls, well, from what I heard, because I didn't have it. So somebody grabbed me, said, call your uncle. I called him, he said, we might have something done with Florida. I was the happiest person ever. He said, don't tell anybody. I went to my parents' hotel room and told them. And then just had a few, just think about everything, logistics, everything. I'm like, we can't say anything, don't want to jinx it. And then in the middle of dinner, I got called saying, we need you to sign something. They sent me the contract. I signed it. I sent it back. They go, well, now you need somebody to sign it as a witness. So I'm like, who in my family would I want to sign it? Obviously my mom, who's here today. I think my dad was a little pissed off about that. So she signed it. I went back in with the biggest smile ever. Everybody knew something happened, and then that's where I told everyone. So it was a crazy 3-4 hours.
And looking at, you've obviously only been here a couple times, but how much have you talked to Bennett and to Lomberg? I'm sure guys that you're friends with from your Calgary days about this organization, about playing here, yada, yada.
Yeah, especially in the last couple of days, I've talked to them a lot more about it. The amount of former players that have played here and just people in the organization, obviously talking with Bill a few times, but so many people reached out, and it's so helpful, and it shows that they all care. They want me to feel comfortable. I haven't heard a bad thing about this place, so it's just such an exciting time for me, if I'm being honest.
And Bill, Matthew said, I think it was a Sportsnet, that Florida pushed like hell to get this trade done. Was this a deal where you felt like this is an opportunity, we got to go for it, just whatever it takes kind of thing?
Yeah, for sure. Is it working? Yeah. You got to give to get, and it was a situation that came up in a very, very short window. The time frame was rather quick. And as you just said, when you have an opportunity like this, we had to pursue it, and the price was very high. And we decided this is something we really wanted to pursue, and we're thrilled to be able to be here now.
Hey, Matthew. Obviously, the excitement of coming to Florida you've talked about. Has it sunk in, or what's your thought on joining a team in the U.S. and playing for an American team, just being an American-born hockey player yourself?
Well, I think that I was born in Arizona. I grew up in St. Louis. Both at the time, weren't the Minnesota, Michigan, Boston's not the huge hockey markets. And from what I've seen, even since I came to play Florida in 2016, my rookie year, it's grown a lot. I think one of the things that I can help, on ice, I have a different personality. The way I play, I bring a certain swagger that I think will really help this team. And off ice, I have the same personality. So I think that I'm excited for the chance to get to grow the game down here, and I hope that in a few years, nobody on the team can walk outside without somebody saying something to them, kind of like how it is in some of the other places around the league, and I think that winning definitely helps that. So we'll take care of it on the ice, and I'm sure it's going to attract the next wave of Florida hockey players, and that's a really big goal of mine as well.
And Bill, for you, you've only been here for 2 years, as Hubie had been here for almost a decade, right? How hard is it to kind of separate yourself from the attachment of growing close to a player and knowing how close a fan base has been to a player when you have an opportunity to make a move like this?
Yeah, it's hard. It's not something that you take lightly at all, on several different levels, right? Professional, personal, organizational, hockey-wise. And those are hard decisions. Those are really hard decisions that you get paid to make. And in situations like this, when you have a player, he's been described as a unicorn. Don't take that too seriously. But when you have a young player who's entering his prime and continuing to get better and improve, and you can expect more and more, and add them to a group of already evolving, young, exciting players, it's just a decision we made to really pursue it and pursue it aggressively.
Matthew, hey, welcome. Tim Reynolds of the Associated Press. A question for each of you, but I'll start with you. The history books will say that the Panthers and Flames executed a trade, but you obviously had a very big say in this because you could have chosen where you were going to sign. You had a lot of options. Was there one specific thing about Florida that elevated them maybe higher on your list than some people on the outside would believe was possible?
To be honest, when I made my little list of team, yes, they were on the top of the list. But when I made the list, first and foremost, it was winning. It was not just winning now, but it was winning in the future. If I keep hearing about the past, I'm gonna lose my mind, because I think that this team, I know some of the players are unhappy with the way things have gone the last few years too, and I know I wasn't a part of it, but I don't want to keep hearing that. I want to worry about the future here. And like we were just talking about, the team, all the guys are from my age to 28, 29, or the majority of us are. So that was first and foremost a very attractive part for me, is the win now mode and the win in the future. Number two was lifestyle. I know I'm 24, and I had 6 unbelievable years in Calgary, and it was the best place for me to be at that time. But looking ahead, I signed for 8 years, but in my mind, I'm here for 8 plus. So however many that'll be, I want to be here for the rest of my career. And number 3, I think they have, a bunch of elite players that I can play with and be surrounded by. I know that they have a top 3 player in the NHL, and that's a fact. Unbelievable talent, and a lot of guys that have just continued to get better, like we just talked about, with lots of young guys, but a lot of experienced guys as well.
And Bill, you guys, what you did this past season, rewrote the record book, President's Trophy, all of those things. You could have just run it back. That would have been probably the easiest thing to do. What was it? And you talked when you hired Paul about how you took a couple weeks and really looked at everything critically and decompressed. I guess, when did this sort of notion enter into your mind that maybe this was an opportunity that the Panthers should take a hard look at, knowing that like you said, you have to give something to get something, and you gave a lot to get this.
Well, this it only came up last week. It wasn't something that during the process of the evaluation postseason that we would even fathom could be possible. A 24-year-old 100-point guy who's tough, who's mean, who has the person. I might have to stop. But no, when you have the ability to get this type of asset and add this to this young core that's growing together, and that I don't think it's a secret that obviously some of the attributes that Matthew brings are areas of the game that we could really use collectively in our group. So when that materialized as a reality, then rather quickly we had to decide rather quickly that this was something to pursue.
Hey, Matthew, it's John Evanson from CBS 12. We've touched on Panthers fans being a little disappointed that, we haven't seen this team go further in the playoffs. We watched you in a very competitive series this year. From your playoff experience, what do you think it takes to be a successful playoff team and to go deep? What attributes, and I'm sure you have those attributes, but what do you need as an entire team?
Well, I think that, I personally haven't been on many teams that have had, any teams that we haven't had playoff success. So I think that I have that bitter taste in my mouth, just like the teams had the past few years. So I think that's like a really good thing it's a part of the fit too. Like I want to win, and I have that hunger to win, and I know everybody else in there does. I think it takes, first and foremost, you have to have a great regular season. Half the teams get eliminated, so you have to take care of that. I know maybe the mindset can be, we got to change the notion in playoffs. Well, we got to get there, and it's not easy. So we got to get there, and hopefully once we get there, you just take each series as it comes. You can't look ahead. You take care of your team. You take care of the team you're playing against. You play hard. You play in their face. You have great goaltending. We have all the tools here. We have all the players. Got a great coach. Unbelievable owner from what I've heard. He treats everybody unreal, and spend the cap. I mean, there's no excuse why this can't work. So, and just want to I want to be here. Like this wasn't me just getting traded and me having no say. Like I chose this. I really want this to work, and I'm just excited for the possibility of winning here in South Florida.
Hey, Bill, could you walk us through your view of how this trade came down when we first realized that Matthew was available, and we heard from Matthew's side. Let's hear it from your side now.
I think it was Wednesday. I got a call from Matthew's agent, Craig Oster, and I reached out to Calgary right away. And at first, I didn't really think it was true. Kind of, come on. And spoke to Brad, and we had a series of discussions. At one point, we spoke. We had a real healthy, a lengthy discussion about everything: hockey, South Florida, life, the Panthers, our future. It was really healthy and interesting. I very much enjoyed it, and continued to speak to Brad, and it culminated on Friday. And once it did, I knew that Matthew and his family were in New Jersey, and we had to keep it under wraps for a few hours, and Friday night, finally, it got approved by the league.
And Matthew, could you just define what you said? You play and you carry yourself with swagger. What that means to you? How do you define how that works?
I mean, I think it's just kind of how I live my life too, off ice and on ice. I just have like a confidence that's a good confidence. That's not a cockiness. I think it'll help this team. I think that some of these teams in this conference that in our division that have had success have that. The team in the other end of the state has that. A bunch of teams that have been there have had that. So it's not up to me to provide that, or it is up to me to provide that. I'm not going to bring it all. So I need to help with that. I think that's one of the reasons why it's a perfect fit. There's a lot of, like, I look at a guy like Sasha. He looks like from the outside as one of the best captains in the league. He leads by example, but he has that quietness to him. You can tell that quiet confidence, and I think that I'm kind of like the perfect guy to have with him, where I'm almost like the other way. I'm not quiet, so I think I can help him, and it'll be beneficial for both of us to have each other.
If I can jump in on that one, I had a conversation with someone over the course of that 48-hour period or what have you, and I drew a parallel between Matthew and, if you've ever seen the movie Hoosiers, Jimmy. At the end of the movie where he says, "Coach, I'll make it," and it's that type of confidence. That, give me the ball with 20 seconds on the line, or I don't know, 2 seconds I think in Hoosiers, right? He wants it. He wants the shot. So.
Matthew Aaron Brown from the Hockey News. You've talked about winning, but what are you looking forward to most in terms of the Florida lifestyle? 24, Miami's a hopping place. What are you looking forward to?
You're saying just lifestyle?
We know the winning is there. We know that's the goal. But what do you think you're going to enjoy most coming from winter to South Florida?
It's probably what's on my feet right now, flip-flops. We'll just keep that answer there.
Okay. And then just a quick question for Bill. It's been reported that this is the first sign and trade in NHL history. I'm just wondering, why haven't we seen this before? Was this something you kind of looked at and said, why can't we reshape? Or
No, that was really just a technicality as far as how these things go down. The CBA spells out specifically dates and times in which transactions may occur, and the nature of the timing of this particular one was such that it had to be a sign and trade, and that was about it. There's no creative machination in place or anything like that. No.
You always got to wonder about that.
Yeah.
Hey, Matthew, welcome to Florida. This is Colby Guy from Florida Hockey Now. Just wondering, you're replacing a guy in Jonathan Huberdeau who owns franchise records in games played and points. Is there any kind of pressure that comes with replacing a guy like that?
No, I don't feel it. I'm a different type of player. I know that another guy that was traded in that was Uyghur, who's an unbelievable player as well. I bring different things than what those guys bring. I think the way I play. Not really wanting to talk about the way I play anymore. I've answered that enough. But I don't feel pressure. I'm here to win. Personal stuff, throw it out the door. I don't care. I'm here to be the last team standing. That's it. So if I am, I'm happy. I don't care about the personal stuff. I'm not comparing myself to anybody.
And then just for Bill, you were telling us earlier on that you were working on contract negotiations with Mackenzie Weegar and Jonathan Huberdeau. Was there anything that kind of tapered off a little bit that led you to trading them?
No, not at all. This was a situation that, as I just referenced, came up when the agent called me Wednesday. I didn't even believe 100% that this could really be something that happened. In situations like this, when you have a chance to add a player like Matthew to the organization, the price is steep, and that's how things went down.
Thank you, Chris. I just wanted to absolutely. You had a big rivalry with Edmonton, and you've called them the team up north, like the Ohio State people do. And now you got the team on the other side. How excited are you to get into a Battle of Alberta type thing with the Lightning?
Yeah, I said it earlier. I hate Edmonton, but I hate Tampa more now. So I'm excited for those games. They're the team to beat right now. They've had the most success. Seems like, for us, we're going to have to go through them at some point. So I'm really excited for that challenge. Playing them not as much as I'm going to play them now. They're a very good team. They play hard, and they're a little bit built different now than they were, let's call it, a few years ago. So they're still the team to beat, and I'm sure we're going to have our hands full with them. They've had the most success, and they know what it takes to win, and we're going to learn that.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone, very much.